Yeah, we're on the 21st today. Sorry I didn't get up and finish the little bit video off yesterday when I was on doing preparing the trenches. As I was coming into the greenhouse, my daughter's moving house and she asked me would I go and help her to do a little bit of work. So I didn't get to finish. Anyhow, we'll finish off today. And I'm pleased we did wait until today. I've received some seed this morning which I've never grown before. My son owns, not my son, my daughter and her husband, they own a restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's been closed virtually all of this year because of lockdown. They're hoping that with the vaccines on the way and being pushed out, that they will get open at some point this year. Sean's asked me would I grow a little bit of stuff because of the Mexican restaurant. He's very particular. He's got a cracking reputation being a top chef, but everything that he does he tries to do properly. He went across to Mexico to research. The company name is Barrio Comido. You can look it up. It's got great reviews. It's a super restaurant in Durham, and he gets 5 different kinds of flour flown in from Mexico, which he makes the tortillas and things with, and he's trying to be as authentic as possible. So he's sent away for a lot of things that you can't get in this country. So I've actually received a little package this morning from Sean. Things I've never grown, some of them I've never heard of. I'm going to read them out. We've got organic habanero orange magnum. I've got some seeds. I'm going to sow those now. Mexican chilies, a variety named Lucy. I'm going to sow those now. Red and white yin yang orca beans. I would imagine they'll be sown probably in May. I'm going to research some of these, so they'll go to one side. Purslane green. That doesn't get sown until April. I'll have to really check what that is. There's a couple of things I'm not sure what they are. Papillo Porophilium. Not sure. I think it's an edible flower actually. That's for his restaurant. Perpetua Porophilium Tagetoides. So I would imagine that's some form of like marigold, tagit. They're minute seeds, but I'm going to sow those later on. This stuff, it's a tiny little seed. It's minute seed. You can hardly see it. It's not really visible to the naked eye. Piper auratum Mexican pepper leaf, 20 seeds. I'll sow it if it's a pepper leaf. I'll sow those a little bit later on. I'll possibly sow those beginning of April. Chickpeas. Never grown them before, but it'll be interesting to do. Sunburst patty pan squash. It'll be a variety of squash. Golden yellow scalloped squash. Saucer shaped squash requires no peeling when harvesting. Cooks and tastes like green courgettes. Grows up to 2 foot tall. Matures in 45 to 55 days. So that's good. Somebody coming? That's not. I thought it was someone trying to get in. It's one of the lads just going. This one, I don't know what it is. It's in foreign language. I'm not sowing those early. It looks like it's just like a green leaf, like a kind of spinach type of thing. I'll sow those in April as well. Just put them into 20 cell trays because I think there's only 20 seeds and certainly 20 peppers is enough to grow anyway of each variety. So this is just the riddled composter which I did on the last video. Just fill your trays up like that. All I do is I drop them 2 or 3 times just to put an indentation in, and then we'll set some seed individually into there. We'll see how long they take. Usually chilies and peppers need a high. Well, there's plenty of seeds in this one. I'll keep a few for next year. I'll sow. Try and get 1 in each. Right, there's still a stack of seed left there, but that should be plenty. It's going to be plenty to grow anyway by the time I get all these peppers in. I'll write the label, put them in. This one, it's only got 20 seeds in the packet. These have actually come from Mexico. Some of them have come from private growers in Mexico, so they're possibly unnamed. I mean, there's hundreds of varieties of peppers and chilies on the go, but Sean knew exactly what he wanted, and he went to the people when he was across there to see about the seed. I'll try and sow these singly because there's only 20 seed and there's 20 cells in the tray. It's a lovely day here today, but it's very windy and it's very cold. The frost hasn't lifted off the grass this morning. Wherever the sun hits it, it's not too bad. It's pleasant in the greenhouse, but bitter cold outside. They've been very kind. I've got 21 seed. I've managed to put them in singly, so there's 20 in there. I'll put one right in the middle. We'll put a double one. I'm actually just breathing that in, and it's catching my breath, so these are going to be quite hot peppers, I would think. Right, 2 lots of seed in, a little bit vermiculite on the top. I've had quite a few questions over the last few weeks about the difference between vermiculite and perlite. Perlite, it aerates your soil. To be perfectly honest, I don't add perlite to anything. I used to. But if I buy professional compost, it's, you know, the people who produce the professional compost, they spend millions of pounds producing a compost that's perfect for the commercial grower, and then amateurs come along and start adding different things into it. Fair enough, it might improve it, I don't know, but I don't bother now. I don't add perlite at all. It aerates your soil. It's very light, easy to handle. The only problem, I've got a few leeks in off a friend. He had perlite added in his compost. They had a good root system through a 3-inch pot. I went and moved them up into a larger pot. As soon as I knocked the pot off the bottom, the compost fell to pieces, so they were no longer compact as a unit, which I like to do, you know, as I'm potting on. I like to keep them in contact. The vermiculite, it actually holds moisture. It's very light to use, and it's great for just topping seeds off because the seeds push through it very easily. So I'm just going to lightly top these off. I will steep these trays, and then it'll soak up from the base. I'll also give them a light water over the top just to wet the vermiculite, and I'll place them onto the heat cables because these do need a warmer place to germinate. Right, that's those two. I'm going to write a label out, stick it in. While we're on the potting bench, I had 4 onions next door which were all above 28 inches, 2 of them were 30 inches, and they were in a cold polytunnel. That tunnel is fleeced up apart from the sides, and to be truthful, I'd forgotten about the onions. So there were some quite nice onions. I've set them up there. I only did it yesterday. Set them up, I cleaned them off, put them up onto, well, 5-litre pots. They completely filled the 5-litre pot, completely around, 30 inches around. This one had been really frosted, and the whole bulb, this was 30 inches, this particular onion, the whole bulb had turned to like a mush. It was like soft and sweaty because it had been caught with the frost. And rather than throw it out, I thought, right, I'll just take my chance. We'll clean it down. As you can see what I've done there, I've stripped it right down. I used a knife, cut it all down. The centre growth on both of those pins are going to come okay, the candles. I'll set those up. I'm only putting them into a very small pot, as we see here. I filled it just with potting compost. I'll set that up just to see if it roots. Hopefully it will root, just like that. Hopefully that'll root up and show the green tips will come away and it'll root up. And once it does, then I would pot it up and grow it on. There were 2 nice onions. Well, they were too good to just throw out, so we'll give that every chance. That's it on the potting bench. I'm just going to give you a quick look around. I'll take this off the holster, turn it around. Right, we'll look through. If you remember last week I was on pricking Blanche Leek seedlings out. I do think they've grown on well. They're looking very good. So we've Peter Kerry has got some pot leek seed. It's hybrids that he hybridized. He used the GSN, my GSN leek, as the mother plant, and he took pollen from the blue and hand pollinated onto the GSN, and he's had superb germination. He has around 80 plants. He's going to grow 20, I'm going to grow 20, and he suggested the other 40 would take to the North East Horticultural Society meeting and dish them out. Every member that comes, give them a plant. So I've said I'll do the same with the Blanche leeks. So everybody's got a pot leek and a Blanche leek seedling to take away with them. Hopefully grow on, and we'll maybe come up with something new for future. Seedlings, these are onion seedlings, which basically I've been waiting of coming I need to finish posting out. The first, well, I set every 2 or 3 weeks I do a full batch of seedlings. The first lot have now got too big to post out, so I'm waiting on these. They'll be ready certainly next week to post. So that's the onions. We'll move along. There's still got leeks on the bench here waiting. That's the first lot of onions. They're too big. These leeks are GSNs. I've still got a few GSNs and Pendle to post, and onions, possibly an odd CSC or something like that, but as I say, it's pointless posting something out and not having the rest. I potted a few onions up, only into 1 litre pots. They're nothing startling this year, but they are coming away. I think they'll still make good onions. As you can see, that's them in there. They're stood a couple of foot high. Some more seedlings. These are Northern Lights. The ones at the far end are. This is the onion plants. They're coming away nicely. There's a lot gone out, but these are the ones that's left. Moving along, I just wanted to show you the virus free. They're looking very good. I'm delighted with these. They're a beautiful colour. The sun's possibly stopping it. They've got a lovely twist right at the end of the leaf. These are only in 1 litre pots, but they're certainly, if you put your finger next to them, they're about as thick as my finger. Now, what was happening in the early stages, I'll lift one out of here. They were stepping up in length, which I was actually happy about, because last year this particular leek was short. But they were very late set. If you remember, I got them mid-January to late January last year. These come in October for me, and I'm hoping that they make a bit extra length. Anyhow, they stepped up in the greenhouse, but as they've been potted on, these ones in the square pots have only been potted up a week. The ones in the round pots have been potted up 3 weeks, and you can see they're popping their buttons and staying reasonably short. So it's going to be a typical Cumbrian, but they just look so much better than the original Cumbrian plants because of the cleaner virus. And as I say, they are, see if I can show you that, they're a beautiful colour. No virus in them. They look really good. And then we move on to the ordinary Cumbrian. These Cumbrian are about 3 weeks ahead of the virus free, and as you can see, the virus free are passing them. Because obviously they don't take any check. Seed that I set last week, the Tasco onions aren't through as yet. Guardsman's just starting to come through. You can just see it there, just starting to pop through. Cornish Giant hasn't come through yet. It's not quite a week. It's Friday today, so they've been in 5 days. I would expect they'll be through in the next 2 or 3 days. And then we've got some I set the Bedfordshire Champion very late. Peppers, that was my wife's pepper, had come through. So we're waiting for a few peppers coming through here as well. Shouldn't be too long. But everything's going happy. We're starting to get a bit of sunshine. It doesn't hit the greenhouse very much. It hits one end and then it makes its way around. It's behind the house most of the day, but things are going well. I've still got some small pendles across there. I do a lot of later set pendles because I do have people ask for plants to be posted out in February to try and save on the heating, so they'll go out in February. Few more virus free. What I found was with the virus free, they don't all come perfect, and these ones were actually dissected because they come and they were throwing multiple stems up. So I actually cut the root plates on these, and I've potted these up individually, and they've actually taken off since I've potted them. They're looking good there, so I'm quite happy with those. Back on the onions. So that's everything for the moment. Turn this around. That's everything for the minute. As things happen, you know, as we do something different, I'll keep coming back and show you. Keep up the spraying, keep your temperatures just frost free. I'm not pushing any high temperatures. I was asked about heat beds and could I show how to do them. Well, I don't want to pull the heat beds to pieces, but I'll show you what my beds are made of. Well, there is the thermostat. Oh, that was turning the camera back around, sorry. Right, this is a thermostat which screws on the side of the bench. It's all wired up. This is actually rigged up on that. This is rigged up onto two different ones, as we can see. The cables from beneath there. So that screws onto the bench, and then the cable is right under here. If I can get it out. That's the type. Yeah, that's the type of cable. There's 80 foot of cable there. I've got 100-foot ones. This is uncoiled. It has a thermostat built into the cable, the regulator, but you can add a bench thermostat as well, which controls it even better. This is laid out onto I have slatted benches like this, which I cover with polythene. Usually I would stretch this out, and it's put 4 inches apart across the bench, so it'll go 20 foot down the bench and 4 inches across until it covers maybe a 2 foot area, 20-inch area, something like that. It's then covered with 2 inches of sand, which I put a little lat up the side, fill it with sand, wet the sand, keep it wet, and plug in and switch on, and Bob's your uncle, you're away. So they are good. They now do heat mats that you can get, which are pretty good. So the heat mats are good, but I'm quite happy with what I've got. I honestly don't like keeping plants on heated cables too long, because I think once the roots get down to the bottom of the pots, the heated cables tend to burn them and soften the plants a little bit. So once my plants are germinated and growing away nicely, they usually get taken off the heat cables and put onto the slatted benches or just the polythene benches like on this side. Right, that's perfect. I am looking at some of my lighting system. I've taken a little bit of advice from a couple of pals who are electricians, and obviously it costs a fortune to run the lights that I am. So I'm thinking of looking at new ones. I've looked at LEDs for a few years now. I didn't know enough about them, and I'm told off some of the top guys, LEDs were still nowhere near as good as the sodiums and the metal halides. So I've continued with those, but now when I'm looking, I've done a fair bit of research over the last month. I think LEDs have come on a treat, and they're actually starting to surpass them. So I've looked at quite a few. The trouble is, once you move into the professional range, you're looking anywhere from £700 to £1,500 per light. But I am going to take the jump this year, and I'm going to switch possibly the lighting cabinet first, see how it works. If they outperform the sodiums and the metal halides, I'll probably switch right the way through. Maybe it's not all at once, because it'll be quite expensive, but I will look to do it bit by bit. I'll keep you informed on that one, and let you know as and when we make a move. Great, thanks very much now, bye bye.